Doc Demet's presentation, and these are your record analysis using breeding parameters. The outline here starts with actually the issues and IEI, but on the earlier part, he also included some summarized parameters on the other domestic animals, but we will not dwell on that. But I think he put that at least you have an easy reference for your second laboratory exam. Okay, but specifically for breeding case analysis, we're going to focus on cow parameters. Okay, so these are just some of the summarized parameters, and I'm sure that you have encountered them prior in your previous classes, like 116, 114, and then in small animal medicine. And while I was also browsing through this before, so these are really just no repetition from what you learned from your previous classes. So it's a good, quick reference. Okay. Okay. We start with the issues and the IEI. And just for context, Doc Demet worked in the UK for 10 years. That's why some of the spelling are different from what we're used to. Meron O before issues, etc. So, it's correct pa rin naman, no? Kaya, hinayaan ko na lang. Hindi ko na inedit yan. So, we know already issues, no? So, there are many signs how the cattle would show the issues. And then what we're going to be interested with right now is the interval between the issues of a particular cow. So, we're going to look at it not as a herd level, but individually. And then after we obtain all their IEIs, we're going to have like an average, and that's how we look at it on a herd level. So we know that we are following the standards, we are at par with the standards, international standards. And so if not, we have to make some adjustments. Okay. And wait, and show. Okay. I prefer showing the presentation like this. You know why? Because in probably one or two slides, I will already be showing you the actual data that I worked on. So this was real data from the farm, Dairy Cattle Farm I was managing 11 years before. So makikita, I will show you yan, paano namin kinakalculate. Ito talaga yung actual. So it's real, hindi siya yung learning about these parameters and it ends there. Hindi. For you to be really on top on the reproductive management of the farm, and we want that kasi we're a production farm. So we want animals year-round, we want milk production year-round. So dapat talaga ang parameters namin is always at par with the international standards. That's why we're really serious with our record keeping. So, meron kaming hard copy, tapos yung hard copy, encode siya to this one. So, this is the local version, I would say, because kami lang ang gumawa nito. In Excel siya. Pero sa ibang bansa, they have money, so they have the software. The software kasi is really expensive. It's like, to purchase it, it's 100,000 pesos plus. And then to maintain it, it's like 70,000. 70,000 or it depends on the software. So may 20,000 yearly, merong 75,000 yearly, parang ganon. So, babawas pa yun sa income ng farm. So, we do away with that actually. And what we have is that we made this on our own. So, yung namang mga software na yon, yung parang foundation nun is also something like this, no? So, we're equipped with putting in the formula so that when we input one data, diretso na siya magka-calculate. Okay? So, in here, in this slide, so it's showing us the interval is the time in days. So, we compute in days between two consecutive estrus periods in the same cow. And we know that the interval should be 21 plus or minus 3 days, right? So, pagka lumampas siya dyan, it means something. So, ayan yung mga there are the possible causes of why there's an abnormal IEI. Yan, makikita niyo in the following slides. So the formula there is IEI equals date of the next estrus minus date of the previous estrus. So basically, yung date that is the later date you minus than the earlier date. So, syempre, para hindi mag-negative ang lalabas na sagot sa'yo. And ifo-formulate mo siya na para ang lalabas na answer is a number. So, meron yan yung format nung data. So, pipiliin mo yan sa drop-down menu para lalabas siya na, kumbaga, 18, 20, 21, ganon. Tapos, although in um, this particular projections, we call this the farm projections, in this particular Excel, we don't compute for that. Wala siya dito, no? So, proceed tayo. But it's ay, teka, let me check. Meron ba akong IEI? No. Hindi namin siya kino-compute. May iba kaming strategy on how we monitor that. Okay. Pero maganda ito. Mas madali actually yung IEI. So, computing this will give you an idea if the cow is cycling normally. Okay, so it represents the length of the estrus cycle from one heat to the next. Because if everything goes normal, if everything is working, then the standard IEI should be met by the cow. So yan, kung may good follicular development, ovulation, ganyan. So alam niyo na yan, okay? So ito yung normal interval, di ba? 21 plus or minus 3 days. So that's your average of 21 days. Yan. So yan yung mga considered normal natin. And if shorter than 18 days, so ang strategy na pwede mong gawin dito is you also, like when you do this Excel, you can, anong tawag doon, yung flag down a particular color, tama? Na pagka nag-less than siya ng 18, automatic na siyang kukulay na pula, kukulay na pink, ganyan. That's why in our Excel file, ang daming color-coded. Yan, so ang ibig sabihin lang namin, so pwede naman hindi mo to gayahin, pero ito yung concept. So ang parang ano siya, parang traffic sign, okay? So the yellow it's a decrease, but the decrease is not very huge. Pero pag pink siya, the decrease is larger than expected. So kaya pwede mo siyang i-flag down na ganyan, no? Hindi ko lang matandaan kung ano yung prompt, ano yung particular term na parang ano. So, itong mga nakikita yung mga kulay, yan, specifically itong mga data, yung mga numbers. So, yun, naka-automatic siya. So, yun ang pwede mong gawin dyan. Para easily, you can already identify with one look on your Excel file, like which are not in the normal cycle. And, pwede mo din pabilang yun sa Excel file na automatic. Sa babang part nung nung chart mo, lalagay na niya na total number na abnormal. Ayan. So, ang question is, how often do we update this? This is submitted weekly to me by my staff. Tapos ako yung mag-a-analyze, isa-summarize ko siya, bibigyan ko siya ng yung pinaka-owner. I will send him an email to give him an executive summary. And syempre, sa lahat ng mga hindi maganda, ano yung action points ko. Tapos, yung timeline na ma-fix ko siya. So, ganun ang trabaho ko. Okay? So, yan. So, what does it mean if the interval is lower than 18? So mabilis siya mag-cycle. Okay? So, meaning, there is early luteolysis kasi mabilis yung normal cycle na dapat 17 days yung CL. Tapos, so, ibig sabihin, 15 days lang siya, 14 days lang yung CL na mamatay na agad. So, nagkakaroon na agad ng upshoot ng FSH and then LH na nagkakaroon ng early ovulation. Yan. So, it could also mean that there is poor luteal function, kaya nagkakaroon ng early luteolysis. And one possible factor is the postpartum recovery. So, that's why, titingnan mo din if the animal has recently calved. So, wala pa talaga yan. Siyempre, alam niyo naman yung concept ng VWP, which will also be discussed later on, or the involution, no? The involution. So, wala ka nang expect while the animal is in involution. Ang gusto mo lang sa kanya is maging healthy ang kanyang reproductive tract in a span of time. Later ko na need to discuss. So, pagka prolonged cycle, more than 24 days. So, these are the common possible causes. Number 1, missed heat, silent heat. Okay? Yan yung common. Okay? Or loss of pregnancy due to gestational heat. So yan, pwede din yan. Ay, pwede din pala yung early pregnancy loss. So yan ang mga common. Ang hindi common but can happen are cystic ovaries and then persistent CL. So, ano ba yung pwedeng mangyari pag missed heat? O, syempre, medyo napabayaan lang yung technician na dapat ano ba yung heat detection siya. For whatever reason, pumalya siya, hindi niya nakita. Okay. So, alam niyo naman yung mga many aids on how to help the technician check the heat. So, siguro, kung ano mang problema, o di address mo yan, ganyan. Tapos, it could be silent heat, pwedeng why? Bakit magsa-silent heat yung animal? Kasi naman poor nutrition pala. So, may mga ganon, no? Producing a lot of milk but not being fed properly, etc. Tapos, kung may cystic ovaries, this one is, this can be both kasi. So, kung kunyari CL, yung ano niya, yung pagka-cystic niya, so luteal cyst, yan, prolonged yan, no? So, yung persistent CL, yan, related yan to the cystic CL. Pero pag sinabi mo kasing follicular cyst, dun yan sa short cycle. Kasi nymphomania yan eh. Ang bilis niyang mag-hit, no? So, yan. Yung cystic ovaries na sinasabi dito is luteal cyst. So, pero yung persistent CL, iba pa yan. Kasi pwede naman na normal sized CL, pero hindi lang siya namatay agad, no? So, not necessarily equals to, yung persistent CL, not necessarily is equivalent to a cystic ovary. So, how will you differentiate the two? You need to palpate, okay? And then, how will you know na cystic ovary siya? The size is abnormally bigger. So, it could be a size of a ping pong, a golf ball. Sabi ko nga, yung earlier, no, in our face-to-face class, it starts with the size of a jackstone, hanggat sa may golf ball, hanggat sa tennis ball. So, ang experience ko, I was able to, if I remember it right, I was able to palpate 2 cystic ovary cows. And then luteal cyst, ano naman siya, parang golf ball. Yeah, and then bigger than a golf ball. But I cannot remember kung ala tennis ball kasi it was, about 20 years ago. I cannot remember perfectly. Okay, so going forward, so if the IEI is normal, so everybody's happy. So proceed tayo. So ayan. So ito, the number of inseminations per conception is what you call your AI index. So your AI index is, desired if it is low. It means the number of times you have to do the AI before you can have a successful pregnancy. So syempre, the lower the AI number, the more efficient, the lower the AI times to impregnate an animal, the more efficient it is. So, as a simple statement, that is, pero there's a lot of work that has to be in place for that to happen. At alam nyo na yan, right? Kasi na-discuss na natin yan, na dapat good nutrition yung cow, dapat magaling yung technician, alam niya yung ginagawa niya, yung semen towing, everything is perfect, no? So, there's only like small room allowed for error by this concept for it to still proceed to pregnancy. So pagka hindi siya talaga nagwo-work, you have to backtrack each of the step and ensure that you are doing it as perfect as possible. Kasi, if not, alam mo na, no? You have to improve on that particular step or whatever step, okay? So, now we are with 2 parameters now, AI index. So, balikan natin yan. I'm gonna show you how we look at the AI index. So, tingin kayo dito sa times bread. O yan. So, yan yung parang AI index namin. But this one is not specifically, at this point in time, we are not using natural mating anymore. But early on, when we made this Excel file, may ilan kami na nagna-natural breeding pa. That's why, ang linagay na lang namin times bred. So, hindi siya nakalagay times AI. But the concept here is the same as AI index. Okay. So, ang nakalagay dito, right? So, ang gusto natin is 1.6 to 1.8. Yan. Okay. Pero, syempre, we want the world to be perfect. Gusto natin 1. Okay? So, meron tayo dito mga 1. Yan, 1. Pero, tingnan mo yung, wala tayong formula, no? Ayan, ito. So, meaning, itong number, ear tag 383, matanda na siya. Kasi average na to, super average na. O ano na to, no? Tawag dito, itong 4 na ibig sabihin na to, at least, let me check ha. This animal is, 7 years old. Sorry. Ang lactation niya, sorry, nakikita niyo ba properly? O masyadong maliit? Yan, ganyanin ko. Yan. Okay. So, ang lactation number nitong number 393 pala is 7. 7 lactation cycles na siya. So, parang sabihin mo na 7 years na siya ang ginagatasan. Plus 2 years. Kasi usually 2 years, yan yung standard before ka manganak, yung cow. So, mga 9 years old na siya. So, we don't have the complete record before. Kasi like, at this point in time, itong 2015, magte-10 years na din ako dun sa farm. Pero hindi naman pagkapasok ko ng farm, naayos na lahat ng records. So we just dealt with whatever we have. So, meron kaming data of the last 4 lactations of this cow. So, dun sa, let's say, yung present lactation niya, 2 times siya na AI before siya nabuntis, and then backtrack ka pababa. Okay? So, nakuha nyo. So, since yun na lang naman ang data meron kami, i-divide mo lang by 4. So, it came out to be na ang average niya is 2.8. Okay? So, alam naman natin na this is not the standard. Okay? So, at least nakikita natin, itong animal na to, medyo hirap siyang mabuntis. So, bakit kaya? So, individually, we are going to look at that. So, tingnan mo to, may malala, 5.5. Kasi imagine mo, dun sa last pregnancy niya, 7 times, okay? Hindi namin siya sinukuan. Why? Probably, kailangan namin ng animals. Most likely, yan yung reason. Pero, ang standard talaga namin is dapat 3 times lang. Tapos, ang 3 times na i-AI namin siya, tapos 2 times namin na itatry ng natural mating. Okay? So, just for context again, if you can remember, may semen processing kami sa farm. So, we have bulls. We are collecting bulls for semen collection weekly. So, kung magna-natural mating kami for instances like this, na problematic cow, pwede namin gawin siya. So, basta yun ang ginawa naming standard for that farm. 3 times kami mag-AI, pag hindi naging successful, then meron siyang remaining 2 natural mating. Tapos pag hindi pa rin talaga, like syempre, between these attempts, dapat we're already trying to understand what's wrong with the animal. Tapos if parang everything is okay naman, tapos still we're not successful, so candidate na siya for CAL. Okay, so that's one of our parameters on how we CAL our animals. So syempre, the other one is milk production. Tapos number 1 is disease or any abnormality na kunyari napilay, etc., whatever. So yun ang 3 main parameters namin on why we CAL an animal. So ganyan siya. So ito nagiging na kaming medyo better, no? So it just means na for this particular cow, so 1 lactation, meaning 3 years old pa lang siya. So dun sa breeding niya, para manganak siya and mag-lactate, isang beses lang siya in-inseminate na pregnant na siya. Okay? So, it shows also that for this farm, we're improving. Hindi naman talaga siya na parang pagkapasok ko din, no, syempre ano pa rin naman ako, honestly, I was almost a fresh graduate when I joined the team. So nandun talaga, I'm also learning while I'm working. So ang kagandahan, nakikita naman natin that we are improving somehow. Okay? So ito yung sinasabi ko na on a herd level naman, we also get the average of all these breeding data, AI index, and then nakita mo na for this particular herd, ang kanyang AI index is 3. So still we have to improve on this. Okay? So yan. Nako, AI index pa lang tayo, ang dami na. Next, okay, irregular IEI. So, maraming reasons why we have these irregular inseminations. So, one of which is your irregular intervals prolonged. Yan na yung sinabi kanina on the previous slide. And then, for short intervals, yan. So, ito yung sinasabi ko, na na-preempt kong nasabi, is nymphomania. So, this is follicular cyst. Okay? So, I hope you get that. Pagka-prolonged, that's luteal cyst. Pagka-shorten, that's follicular cyst. Kasi ibig sabihin, ang daming napoproduce na FSH, no? So, and that's one of the precursor para magkaroon din siya ng estrogen and then para mag-exhibit siya ng, heightened libido and then exhibit the natural heat. Kaya heat siya ng heat, no? And most often talaga, when you encounter a cow na wala pa sa 14 days, hit na naman siya, ganyan, yun talaga, follicular cyst talaga, no? I'm not very sure how many I was able to palpate na follicular cyst. Mga dalawa ulit, no? Tapos, it was as big as ganun ulit, golf ball to a tennis ball. Yan, ganun. Pero it's easier to rupture kasi nga the cystic ovary, the follicular cyst is with a thin lining na. Kasi nga, ano na siya parang abnormally big tertiary follicle ang feeling niya upon palpation. So you can easily rupture it. Okay? So yan ang ano niya. And then another point for investigation is the report of false heat. Fortunately, dun sa farm namin, on the latter part, before I left, we were using already this software that helps us detect if the animal is in heat. So, nabawasan yung pressure on our technician kasi meron ng laser or meron na yung pedometer, yung bawat milking cows namin. Actually, starting when they become, on the day that they calve, kakabitan sila ng pedometer on their right hind leg. And that will emit signals and the software and the computer will already summarize who are the potential animals that are in heat. Tapos yun nga, i-validate siya, double check siya nung namin, AI technician. So pwede pa rin. There are still some that has been reported false hit by the software, by the pedometer. Kaya it's very important to still be validated by the AI technician. So how does how would he do it? 'Di ba? Meron kang close up examination. So magva-vaginoscopy siya, titingnan niya kung the cervix is open. So yun ang trabaho niya. Tapos anyone that's qualified, so i-AI na niya. Yan. Okay, so ito naman is more like a summary of the previous slides. So, pagka below 18, it could also be a uterine problem. Pag more than 18, so ayan, it could lead to delayed conception. Definitely, kasi paatras ng paatras. And honestly, we don't want that. So, ang information on that, why we don't like it, is on the other slide. So, it could also be embryonic death. Okay? And that MRP is the maternal recognition of pregnancy. Okay? So, you will learn from your serial lecture, sa last lecture ko actually yan, about embryonic loss, embryonic death. So, it's really 7 days to 14 days, ganon, and it's mostly undetected. So, kaya siya na-prolong kasi supposedly buntis siya. Kaya lang namatay pa rin yung embryo. Kaya nausog niya ngayon yung estrous cycle. Okay? So, unfortunately, it's difficult to really see it externally, yung embryo death and embryonic loss. And sa amin lang sa farm, we have an ultrasound. So, nakikita namin sometimes, no, na monitor namin sometimes. For example, US kami, ultrasound or UTC, by day 28, kunyari day 30, tapos, after 2 weeks, nagre-ultrasound kami, wala na. yung fetus or the heartbeat na nakikita namin previously. So sometimes we have data na nakalagay ED, embryonic death. Okay? Hanap tayo kung meron ako dito na ilagay. Sige, hanap tayo. Okay, wala dyan. Okay, so wala. But sometimes meron dyan nakalagay na times bread 2.8 tapos may ED. Okay, para lang to signify na nagsuffer siya ng embryonic loss before. Okay. Tapos irregular intervals meaning sometimes shortened, sometimes prolonged. So it could be hormonal imbalance and usually pathological anestrus or you have a cystic ovary. So yung pathological estrus that will be discussed on the lecture part, no? So there are many factors kung bakit meron pathological anestrus. Okay, so on this one, tama ba? Okay. So, relation on the semen or bolus. So, sometimes, pwede naman talaga na pangit yung AI semen. Pwede din naman na hindi maganda yung pagkakaprocess ng AI technician, yung pagsasaw niya. So, before pa yung ma-inseminate, marami nang patay. Okay? So, that relates to the semen quality and fertility. So, sometimes, when we do semen collection, ang kagandahan kasi noon, like, parang one-stop shop kami dun sa farm. We also know the bull, yung donor ng semen straw. Okay, so let me go back here in our report. Okay, to show you, ayan. So all of these semen have been produced inside the farm. Although we also buy from the states na mga imported semen, and then the National Dairy Authority, farmers can ask, they're for free, okay? Farmers can request for free imported semen from the US, and you only have to surrender the data because that's what's important for them. Okay, but they will give you depending on the size of your farm, let's say 10, 20, ganon. Ganyan. So, we don't rely on the National Dairy Authority. So, we buy ourselves, kunyari, magbibili si NDA, papasabay kami. Okay? So that we can select the ones that we want. And we usually get the prime ones. Kasi syempre mahal. And the government would not buy the prime ones. Kaya we're not getting from the government. Okay. And then, on the other hand, since we process our own semen, so we have our own stock. So itong mga animals na ito, they have been born in our farm inside, or sila pa yung original na that have been imported from Australia na pure Holstein na maganda din naman ang pedigree. Okay? Tapos, so, yan, either yon mga nakolektahan namin from the original imported from Australia or yung mga anak na nila. But this particular batch, since 2015 na ito, these are actually their sons. So, mga, ano na to, island-born. Okay, mga island-born nila yan. Tapos, itong color niyan, color-coded ulit yan. Yan, nakalagay yung bull, color code. Ito si Landlord. This is an imported from Australia. So, pure Holstein ito. Kaya ang kulay niya is green. So, may meaning din kung bakit siya yellow. May meaning din kung bakit siya red. So, particularly, si Loyalty is 98% Holstein. Tapos, itong sina Limit, sina Force, sina Guide, if I'm not mistaken, they are 91% Holstein. Ayan. Okay. So, with how we process our semen straws, medyo confident naman kami na maayos siya. So, if there's any problem, maybe sa pagsoso, sa pagpe-prepare ng AI technician, but kung ang naka-assign on that particular day is the veteran AI technician, so confident din naman kami that he's doing his job properly. Okay? So, in our hard copy, meron pa kaming AI record or AI form, and then the farm technician, the AI technician will list down na kung ano yung date, kung siya na nag-AI, tapos ano yung mga estrus signs na pinakita ng cow, para sure kami na talagang in heat siya, ililista niya din yon. Ano yung, syempre, air tag ng cow, ano yung saw, temperature. So, all the parameters na pwede naming mag-gather, talagang sinusulat siya ng technician. Para pag may problem like this one, I have a record to go back to. So, ako kasi nagto-troubleshoot, no? Na bakit yan, no? Parang ganon. Okay, next is the bull fertility index. So same as what was mentioned earlier, AI index kanina, di ba? So ito naman bull fertility. So this is yung natural mating that's being used at the farm. So when we try to select for semen straws from abroad, may mga parameters din yan. And isa sa mga parameter is the non-return rates. So, syempre, para masabi mo na this particular bull, sabihin natin, ang pangalan niya is Alpha. Siya ang number one bull coming from the United States for 2025. May parameters kung bakit siya ang number one. And isa na yan, okay? Pero itong si Alpha, ang binibenta na lang sa kanya is the semen. Hindi binibenta yung particular bull, okay? Pero same concept as how we look at it. Kunyari, ito namang isang facility, nagbebenta talaga siya ng mga bull. O ito pa rin ang mga parameter, okay, na titingnan. Para masabi mo na high value itong bull na to. Para, syempre, it will be priced accordingly, okay? So, may parameter that we have to look into such as this NRR. So, pagka mababa, okay, ayan, pagka high pala, yeah, so ano naman to, indirectly proportional. Pagka high, ang non-return rate niya, okay, so ibig sabihin, siya yung efficient. Hindi babalik into estrus. Pagpo-proceed to pregnancy. Okay? So ito ay indirectly proportional. Kasi yung rate niya na mataas, there's a high chance na it will not go back to heat. So there's a high chance that the cow inseminated is pregnated. So kailangan high, hindi low. Okay? So the bull is more efficient. Okay? So yan, indirect measure of conception. Pero it's important, no? Indirect but it's important. Okay, now we're going to the involution or the voluntary waiting period. Already you know about this definition, na-discuss na natin siya. It's typically 45 to 60 days postpartum. So, I remember discussing this in our lab class. Kaya lang, ang problem ko, I forget kung was this last year o this year ba sa class niyo. Pero tanda ko talaga, parang quite recently na-discuss ko to in one of my classes. O parang sa inyo nga, nandun tayo sa LR1, no? Sa DBCS LR1. May nagtanong about this. Kasi 'di ba parang nandun siya sa ating quiz, parang ganon. So, ulitin ko yung kwento sa mga hindi nakakatanda, nakakaalala. For those who do not remember the story, when I was, when I started at the farm, we would go visit other farms. And the farm I used to work for was in Calauan, Laguna. We would visit farms here in Batangas. And one of the progressive farms, up to now they are still progressive, pero the one we visited then, yung manager, he was telling us that basta daw mag-hit yung animal niya after calving, as soon as ibibreed na niya, nabubuntis daw. So, that's 21 days after. So, sabihin natin 25 days, 30 days, ganyan. So, kami mga vets, hindi siya, parang I don't want to, undermine him or everything. So, maybe, hindi niya thoroughly naintindihan. Hindi siya veterinarian, yung manager. He's an animal science graduate. Pero yun ang sinasabi niya. And kami nagtitinginan kasi I was with my fellow veterinarians at that time. Nagtitinginan kami. Siyempre hindi na kami mag-contest. Pero we know that it's not possible. So para you also have to filter. Alin ang yabang lang, no? Pag nagpo-farm visit kayo. Yan. So anyway, so story lang yan. Kasi it's really not possible, physically speaking. The uterus is not ready. kailangan talaga niya is 60 days. Yun yung optimum. Pero sabi nga dito, as early as 40 days, 45 days, okay? Bakit nakalagay 45 days? Sa states, grabe sila, very much commercialized ang kanilang operations. Ang bilis ng pacing. Sila talaga 45 days, nagbe-breed na sila. And may mga published articles na din sila doon na pwede naman, it's possible na 45 days, basta the body condition and the negative the energy balance of the cow is already positive. Meaning, naka-recover na yung katawan niya from the high pressure lactation, early lactation. Kasi pagka early lactation, the first 100 days, first 60 days, first 100 days, ang taas niya magatas ng mga cows. So aside from, na-feel ko to kasi nanay na ako, no? Pero hindi ako high milk producer. Yung grabe yung pressure sa body ng cow. Kasi, hello, magpapagaling ka pa ang matres mo, tapos maggagatas ka na. Parang when I experienced that, I was really crying. Kasi parang awang-awa ko sa katawan ko. I really felt like, am I going to die? Ganun yung feeling. So, kaya sobrang nakaka-relate ako sa mga cows after I became a mother. So, wag natin pilitin, okay? Wag natin pilitin. So, yung mga yung, like, even for humans, no, nanganak ka ganyan, tapos mabumutis ka agad, like, hello, maawa ka sa katawan mo. Anyway, going back. So, sa US, 45, kaya. Okay? Basta nga, positive energy balance and the body condition score is good. Because they have mastered the nutrition. They're giving the nutrition properly. Pwede. Pero pag hindi, talagang doon ka sa pang 60 days. Doon ka sa latter part. Okay? Ito naman, connection to the IEI. So, after the calving, wala. The IEI is really prolonged. Kasi meron ka talagang normal and estrus. Okay? So, hindi siya talaga pathological because normally, the cow will undergo this period. Pagka lumampas ka nga lang sa 60 days na VWP, that's when it becomes pathological. Okay? So, yung ovarian cycles will resume gradually. Babalik na siya sa normal cycle niya of 21 days. So, I remember discussing this in our class. So, 21 plus 21 is 42, right? So, nabanggit ko doon before when we encounter animals na 42 days nag-hit siya, we look at the body condition score. Pagka-confident kami, go, inseminate, no? Kahit it's 3 days shorter than the 45. Pero pagka mga 41, 40, hindi. Talagang, pinaka-limit namin yung 42. Okay? So sometimes we have such animals, pero hindi siya common, no? And then, so once we go back to the normal cycle, so we can expect the 21 days IEI again. If it's the VWP is too short, so ito na yung kwento ko kanina. There will be low conception rates, no? Okay, kaya don't push it talaga. Sayang lang yung similya, sayang yung time, yung tawag dito, paghintay mo na 21 days, parang ganun, sayang. So, really don't push it. It's made to be that way, yung timeline nila. So, we have to give them that, give her that. Kasi naglalactate pa siya, maawa naman tayo. Okay, sige. So now, the proper VWP ensures the normal cyclicity na with regular IEIs yan before breeding begins. So, ayun. Next, calving interval. Ito meron kami nito. Calving interval, we have to make sure talagang we're on top of this. This one ang calving interval namin. Where is that? Yan. Calving due date, age at first calving. Ayan, wala sa presentation ni Doc Demet, but we are also on top of the age at first calving. Let's discuss this first before itong CI. That's the calving interval. Okay. So, dapat 24 months ay manganganak na siya. So, kaya we have these parameters right here. So, kung equal to 23.43 or less than, yan ang best. So, imagine, super problematic. So, ibig sabihin, many years back, ang pangit ng reproduction, reproduction management ng farm. Okay? Why? Kasi hindi kami ganito mag-record before. So, ito yung part na finifix na namin and we're now seeing the problem so that we can adjust them properly. Okay? So, talaga nag-start kami sa poor. Poor, poor, poor. Why? Paano ko masasabing why? Ito, lactation. Previous lactation, 3,000. Pagka ang operation mo ay this is 3,000 liters per lactation, lugi ka na. Lalo na sa mga bilihin ngayon ng price ng feeds, lugi ka na. Kasi at this time, mga ano na to, 6,000, 7,000 na per lactation per cow. So we started with this talaga na pour everything, pour milk lactation yan. Pero the good thing is, because we do this, we understand and we fix it, nag-improve talaga siya. Okay? So ayan. Okay? So ito yung parameters. So meaning pag ito is 24, 23.5 to 25, medyo good spot pa yan. We can still be forgiven for the 1 month delay. Actually, yung 24 months na yan talaga yung mga very progressive commercial farms in the States. And not only in the States, like the rest of the world, yan talaga yung mga magagaling talagang dairies. Okay? Tapos, ayan, syempre gusto din naman talaga namin na at par kami sa international standards. That's why we push and we put in international standards here. So ito, medyo alarming na yan pagka pink, kasi 30 na yan ha. Tas more than 30 ay grabe na yan. Pero tingnan mo dito, we see this particular cow, 552, mababa na yung milk production niya. Ang hirap pa niya nabuntis the first time. So, talagang very good candidate for CAL ito. Okay, pag magiging very strict tayo dun sa farm. Ano na to? Cell or, tsaka, ito pa ha, sorry, I'm jumping all around. XSU means number of functional others. Dalawa na lang ang functioning others niya. Okay, kaya very, very good candidate na talaga to sa as CAL. Okay? So, ano na siya, ang mga callable characteristics niya, difficult to impregnate the first time. Tapos, let's see, yung calving interval niya, in fairness, dun sa latest, is 11 months. Kasi it should be 9 months, di ba? Ay, tama ba? Calving interval. Hindi, tama, 11. 11 ang tama. 11 ang standard. Okay? Kasi 9 months na pregnancy plus 2 VWP, so 11. So, nagka-catch up siya. So, ito nga yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na nag-improve naman yung, yung performance ng farm nung mga later years na talaga. Okay, so, ano pa ba? So, yan, medyo nag-catch up siya sa calving interval. Tapos ito naman, we just try to put the data, ilan ang napoproduce niyang bull. So, punta tayo dito sa taas. B means bull calf. Tapos pag walang B, ibig sabihin babae. Kasi we also look into na puro lalaki ba yung anak niya. Ayan, medyo medyo set aside ka pag puro lalaki ang napoproduce mo na calves. Kaya we take note of that. Okay? So, ayan. So, lahat siya alarming, nakakaloka. Tapos, pagka in-average mo, ganun pa din, more than 30 pa din. So, this is, I cannot remember ano yung meaning nitong pen 2. Although, nakalagay dito, pregnant heifers, right? Pero like, ano ba to? Are these the problematic pregnant heifers? Hindi ko na matandaan. Pero, there's a reason why they're all in the same group. I cannot remember na. Okay? So, balik tayo dyan. So, this CI is really important. And the formula is calving to next calving. So, the calving date, the later calving date minus the prior calving date. So, kung actual na ito ha, so for example, nanganak ngayon, so yung date ngayon minus yung date na nanganak siya last year. So, yun ang formula niya. And that will be yung gestation length mo plus the days open. So, yun ang sinasabi ko. Kaya the standard is 11 months because the gestation length is 9 months plus the VWP, which is 2 months. So, dapat 11 lang siya. Okay? So, and the days open is from the calving date to the conception interval. So, meaning, from the day na in-inseminate mo siya na nabuntis siya. Kasi you can backtrack that date. For example, um, today is March 31. Nung February 28, nag-inseminate ka, and then nag-ultrasound ka today, tas nag-positive siya, syempre nasa records mo yan, na na-inseminate siya ng February 28. So, yun yung conception date mo, February 28. Okay? So, yan yung pagka, mo, yan yung computation mo. So, from the VWP, from the calving date niya, kunyari, to the February 28, 2026 date. Okay. So, ngayon, the IEI directly affects the days open kasi it prolongs nga. Pagka meron kang problem, it prolongs the days open. Therefore, it also prolongs the calving interval. So maraming reasons kung bakit ang very high ang calving interval ng mga cows, ng mga pregnant nandun sa file, okay? So to connect that again, if normal naman yung IEI, maganda yung detection, insemination is good, the conception occurs sooner, so meron ka ngayong shorter CI. So the target is 12 to 13 months. So makikita natin dito, mas nagiging better na kami in terms of kaya ang average is 14. Meron kang 11. Ito kaya, walang data. Okay, so meron kang 11, meron kang 14. Ayan, tapos ito. Ayan, so, etc. Ayan, meron pa rin tayong mga problematic, naging 20 ang interval, etc. Pero fortunately, marami naman nakapasok sa 12 to 13. As an average of the herd, 14. So, ano pa rin siya? Hindi pa rin siya yung best kasi ang ideal talaga is 12. Kaya yung 11, swerte ka na yan. Parang bonus na yun na super perfect mo na 11 months. Okay? So, ang accepted talaga is 12 months. In the US, commonly, nahihit talaga nila yung target na yan na 12 months na CI. Na may konting leeway up to 13. Pero yung 14, may kinda lugi ka na yan. Kaya still for improvement itong herd CI na 14. Okay? Okay, so with your prolonged IEI, alam mo na ang mangyayari, and there is a longer calving interval, meaning yung opportunity mo sana that you're already harvesting milk from this animal and gaining profit is wale, no? Nabawasan. So, loss po talaga yan kasi nagpapakain ka pero hindi siya reproductively sound, hindi siya buntis, and na yung days na the sooner na mababawi mo sana lahat ng gastos sa kanya by the milk na ibabalik niya sa'yo na maibebenta mo, no? So, na-delay yon. So, more and more na gumagastos ka. Okay? That's why we really hate na yung mga ganyang poor reproductive performance. Okay? So, incorporating all the others, repetition ito. So, let's proceed. Ang takeaways natin, we have to monitor IEIs, return to heat, we have to balance nutrition. Reproductive management really goes hand in hand with nutrition. Kasi kahit naman anong pagka-push mo kaka-AI, but the BCS is 2.5, it will not give you the results that you need. Okay? Kaya, it's very important that the nutrition is well balanced for the animals as well. Kaya mataas din yung namin, alam mo yun, yung trabaho, no, yung workload trying to feed the animals. And it's a challenge in a tropical country because we are not blessed with a good forage as compared to New Zealand, with the temperate countries. Tapos, good quality raw mats as compared to the US and in the Europe, ganun. So, it's really a challenge doing this here. Okay. Next is use fertile boost and quality semen. Alam niyo na yan. And always make assessments, okay, regarding the skill of the technician, especially if you're training a new one. I was fortunate enough to train and work with two good technicians in our farm. Talagang when I look at their records, I'm sure that what they put in the records is what really happened. Okay? And then they are coachable, they are open to positive criticisms. So, it's really building a good relationship with your staff. Kaya, ayan. So, pero when we have new people that we have to train, ganun talaga, no? So, we have some lapses kasi syempre natututo pa lang siya, etc. Okay, and then we have to set that appropriate BWP and aim for the 12 to 13 calving interval. Okay, just to summarize all the parameters that we have been discussing. So, to recap, alam niyo na yan. Okay, sige, meron ditong bago. So, after insemination, if the conception occurs, of course, the progesterone, the CL, will not be killed, will not undergo luteolysis. It will persist, thus it maintains the high level of the progesterone needed for the pregnancy. So it will not return to heat. Okay, if the conception fails, there is no embryo, the luteolysis happens, the progesterone falls down after 17 days, like the normal estrous cycle, right? On the 17th day, mamamatay na siya, and then magpa-flourish na yung FSH, no? So, magkakaroon ng follicular development. So, magkakaroon ka na ng estrus, no? Kaya we have the normal IEI na. Okay? So, hopefully, so far, you're still with me? Hopefully na appreciate nyo and naiintindihan nyo yung mga concepts, no? We have, talaga dito, real data, practical application of these parameters. Okay, ngayon naman, mechanisms linking to the embryonic or fetal death to IEI changes. So, there may be hormonal disruption, kaya namatay yung embryo, nagkaroon ng fetal death, kasi that is disruption on the progesterone, kasi namatay yung corpus luteum, etc., right? So, the embryo secretes interferon tau around 15th to 17th day that will prevent the luteolysis. So, kung nandun yung embryo, hindi niya i-allow na mamatay yung CL, that will, I'm looking for the word, sorry, I cannot think of it. Basta, ang ibig sabihin ng the embryo will give a signal that will not allow for the luteolysis to happen because it needs the progesterone to be produced that will help prolong the prolong the progesterone level that will protect the pregnancy. O parang ganun. Hindi ko na makuha yung tamang wording. So, yan. If the embryo dies then, before day 16, so there will be no signal of the interferon tau to prevent the luteolysis. Therefore, the CL will progress on its death. And then, balik tayo sa normal 21-day IEI. But if the embryo dies after the signaling period, which is day 15 to 17, but before implantation, tuloy na mamamatay yung embryo, kaya lang, ang effect niya, there will be longer IEI. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. We do not see this externally. So, parang, basta na lang nakita mo na, na-prolong ang IEI niya. Okay? So, pwedeng na-stress siya during that time, etc., etc. You will learn about that on the lecture part. Kaya nagkaroon ka ng longer than normal IEI. You can just assume or suspect, no? Kasi hindi mo talaga siya masyadong babantayan, makita. So, if the fetus dies later, meaning medyo nag-advance na yung kanyang pregnancy kasi meron ka nang nakitang fetus, so therefore, hanggat sa mamatay yung CL, bumaba yung progesterone or the placenta regresses, so there will be prolonged anestrus or longer irregular IEI. Okay, so yun lang naman ibig sabihin yan. And by this one, pag fetus, normally naman, na-detect mo na siya, no, through rectal palpation or ultrasound. Kaya lang, adjusted talaga yung calendar ng animal, ng cow. So, those are many of the reasons kung bakit dun sa ating actual farm record ay mahaba yung mga calving interval ng mga cows. Okay? Next. So, if there is infection or inflammation following the embryonic loss or abortion, So it could lead to early uterolysis, okay, which could lead to short cycles or the persistent CL or prolonged cycles. So you also have to be on top of the uterine health of the animals, okay? Ayan. So these are your approximate embryo death. Pagka 8 to 15, so pasok pa siya, pwede pa siyang pumalik sa normal uterolysis, okay? Or pwede din early uterolysis, which can lead to a short interval, okay? So meaning, wala, this one is pag ano pala, sorry, let me rephrase what I said. 8 to 15, kaya hindi siya 15 to 17. 15 to 17 is the normal. So ito is shorter than the normal. Kaya, pero naka-borderline ka ng 15. So it could be normal pa, pero most likely shorten. Kasi there's earlier uterolysis. Kasi it starts with day 8 to 14, tapos namatay yung embryo. Okay? So, pagka day 16 to 20, so may pasok ka pa 2 days, 16 and 17, so pwedeng magkaroon pa ng normal, pero mostly prolonged na din. So, slightly prolonged kasi umabot ka ng 18, 19, 20. O yan. Kaya instead of the 21 days, may additional kang 3, 22, 23, 24. O yan, to up to 25 days. Kaya there's slightly prolonged IEI. Okay? And then, pag more than 20, so up to 24, so there is strong interferon-tau effect. So there is prolonged IEI. So the CL was maintained. But later on, pwede naman itong normally na mag-utilize siya. Or kung ma-detect mo siya and you want to shorten it, so pwede kang mag-PGF2 alpha rather than to wait for the 24th day, 25th day, etc. No, kumbaga, you really value the time kasi with each day, you're feeding na walang nangyayari. And then, you calculate it na if you're going to have to feed for 4 more days, it's more expensive than to give the PGF2 shot, then you give the PGF2 shot, okay? So, that's how you make decisions like that, kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin dun sa animal. Okay? Okay, next. So, practical indicator. So, ayan yung ating mga, just a summary of what we have discussed in the previous slides. Tapos, so, yan yung most likely effect niya. And then, interpretation on the IEI, yan yun. Okay? So, pagka paulit-ulit mong i-internalize yung mga concepts earlier, even without memorizing this figure, alam mo yung magiging sagot mo niyan. Okay? Sige. So the impact is ganun pa rin, para more layman's term na effect on the fertility of the animal. So if there is higher number of seminations per conception, so ito yung mga repeat breeders na sinasabi mo. There's a higher chance na magkaroon ng embryonic or fetal loss. Okay? If there is prolonged days open, so there is prolonged calving interval, okay, and prolonged also could be due to repeat breeding after the embryonic loss. So if there is prolonged calving interval, so it increases also the IEI. And then also there is an increased risk of the embryonic or fetal loss as well. Conception rate, if the conception rate is high, which is a good parameter, that's why the risk is decreased. Okay? Okay, and next, for the inter-uterus interval pattern, so it becomes irregular as well. So, pwedeng, because of the short or because of the prolonged, so pwedeng magkaroon ng embryonic loss. Okay, the common causes of the embryonic loss are this. Okay, so hindi ko masyado tong i-discuss kasi this is morely discussed in the lecture part. Pero, what's in here is the same as in the lecture part. So, doon na lang natin siya mas pag-usapan. Okay, so how it ties back to reproductive management, same, okay? So, sinamarize na lang ulit niya. Pero, with the repetition, kakaulit mong kakabasa, mas maintindihan mo siya. So, I just don't want to repeat it kasi yun na din naman yung na-mention natin earlier. So, let's check here kaya. Ito ang medyo bago, no? Kung pregnancy diagnosis timing, so early diagnosis, let's say meron kang ultrasound kasi for rectal palpation, it's really 60 days. Pagka magaling na rectal palpator, 45 days. So para magka 30 to 40 days, early diagnosis pa rin ito, most likely with the ultrasound, okay? So ito yung na-mention ko kanina sa inyo that we have an ultrasound at the farm. That's why we detect a lot more early fetal death or embryonic death than the other farms, okay? And then we can do some ways already on how we can have the cow return into heat para hindi na yung hintayin namin na, oh, ang tagal na ito, tapos ba't hindi pa nag-hit or hindi pa pregnant, ganon. So, pag alam namin na patay na din naman or wala na, embryonic, pero nandun pa yung CL, ilulutalize na namin para balik to ano na siya, to hit na siya agad. In 3 days, mag-hit na siya. So, inseminate na ulit agad siya. Okay? So, it really trims down a lot of days and it helps us save in our production cost. Okay? And this is how we monitor our postpartum cows. And it's easier because we have trained our milkers also to do the physical check. Because the cows would, diba, position themselves, their back to the milker so they can smell and they can see if there are any discharges. And then they will alert the AX technician and then the assigned supervisor of this particular animal na, oh, nagmemetritis, whatever, whatever. Okay? So we don't do this, like all of this, pero yun nga, meron nga kaming shortcut, no? Meron kaming shortcut in a sense that we ask the help for the milkers, and aside from that, yung when the AI technician is also doing the heat check, titingnan niya din kasi yan all the other animals. And so makikita pa rin niya yung appetite, and then externally makikita din niya yung animal, okay? But we don't do the temp check, okay? In other countries though, there is already an automated way on how to do this kasi when the milking cow goes into the milking parlor, nakukuha na yung temperature ng animal and then it goes to the system, tapos magkakaroon na ng feedback through the software if the animal is feverish or not, okay? So yan yung may may way to automate it. So we're not just doing this temp check. So ito lang, appetite, vulva production, ganyan. And then depending on if there's any abnormality or this early, days 1 to 3 postpartum, then we can do rectal evaluation. But this is to say that not all the time we do the rectal evaluation. Pagka there's something, like obviously wrong, so we do that, okay? And then on day 7, yan, for the 7 days postpartum kasi, actively the cow is still, umiire. So, it's still trying to push something out of the uterus. So, meron at meron ka mga discharge na makikita. And, okay lang yon, no? Kasi, maganda nga yun na nailalabas niya. Wala siyang retained placenta. We just have to be careful in monitoring, like, what's the, what's the smell, what's the odor, and what's the appearance of the mucus discharge, the vulvar mucus discharge, okay? On day 14, vaginal check. Day 21, uterine check. 30, uterine check. Yan. 50 and 60, just to monitor for the VWP. So, this is the perfect example. And this is being done in, like, yung really organized dairies abroad. Parang, this is a perfect scenario. But unfortunately, at the farm, hindi din namin ito nagagawa. Ito lahat. Kasi it's too much. Pero it is the required. Para talaga very good ang reproductive management. You really need to do this, okay? Meron kasi, like for example in Japan, ito nagagawa nila. There is a reproductive veterinarian na hired siya. So parang siya, no, hired service, hindi siya in-house na veterinarian. Tapos, yun ang job niya na well, syempre yung farm ang magsasabi na, pa-check. Tapos yun ang gagawin niya. Tapos kung ambulatory siya, tapos yun, isi-check niya na normal ba, ganon. So, in Australia, hindi din ito masyadong nagagawa. In New Zealand, hindi din. So, ang masasabi ko lang talaga, may ibang farm sa US, to nagagawa nila to. Okay? Ayan. So, ito talaga yung best. Every week on this part here, the first 30 days, is aanuhin mo siya, i-uterine check mo siya. I did this for a time simply because I want to learn. Para masabi ko talaga, ay oo nga, oh, lumiliit talaga siya. Nag-VWP talaga siya. Nung natutunan ko na siya, okay, hindi ko siya ginawa. Ayan, ganun. So, hindi ako good model for this one. Pero ito ang kailangan gawin. So, yan. So, under yung, ayan, ito. What are you gonna expect if you do this palpation at this time? Day 14. So, yan. May mga, dapat at this time, wala ng placenta talaga, kahit any remnants. Dapat walang amoy, no? By the time na day 7, may retained placenta siya, ang baho na niyan. Magme-metritis na yung animal. And pag meron na siyang metritis, may grading yan 1, 2, 3. 3 being the worst. Pagka na yung 3, malala na. So, ang IEI mo niyan is at least 1 month more than the usual. So, ano ka na yan? Lugi ka na yan. Kaya talagang, you have to be on top of this as well. So, ang ginagawa lang namin, so basta nakita namin na wala naman, ganun lang, tuloy lang, ganyan. Tapos, makikita na lang namin, it's really more of yung nutrition na tinitingnan namin na maganda yung energy balance niya para by the time na 21 days, okay, ito, we're particular in the 21 days just to monitor for external signs of heat, no? But we don't do the palpation anymore, okay? Tapos, another one, on day 42, ayun ulit, okay? And to prove this to you, nasa, namin yan, nasa calendar. Okay, so, ayan, ito pa rin sinasabi kong EEED, yan, early embryonic death. Okay, kaya pagka, yan, so yung iba naman wala, tapos ito, another one, nag-EEED siya, early embryonic death. So, para malaman namin, so meron kaming calving due date, right? So, we put it there. And then, ito, hindi related dun sa lecture ngayon, pero let me tell you na lang. So, 2 weeks before calving, that's the reason why we put the date, so automatic na siya with the formula, is we have to change the feeding of the cow. So, sa nutrition, para hindi siya mag-suffer sa hypocalcemia, there's a drastic change in the feeding regimen, feeding protocol. And at this time, we also need to prepare the maternity pen. Kaya hindi na dito pinakita, pero alam ko nito, yung pagka may, kunyari this particular week, no, March 25, kunyari to March 31, pagka may mga anak, may nag-fall sa 2 weeks to calving, ng March 25 to March 31, automatic siyang magkukulay to alert us na, this cow has to be transferred na to the maternity pen or at least change na yung kanyang feeding protocol. Okay? So, yung feeding protocol, strictly 2 weeks before, magbabago siya. So, nasa 115, lecture nyo yan. And 1 week before the calving date, ililipat siya sa maternity pen. So, although hindi na namin nilagay dyan yung 1 week before calving. Okay. Tapos 3 weeks before calving, I cannot remember ano yung reason bakit we're taking note of the 3 weeks to calving. O yan, basta yan. So, naka-automatic na yan. So, ngayon, let me go back. We're talking about, okay. So, yung 21 days. Okay. Hindi dito, pero meron pa kaming isang version na dito, bread date, tapos meron kaming column na naka-automatic. Ito na yun actually pala. Plus 20 dito Teka ha, plus 21. Nasaan ba? Mahanap nga tayo ng mga plus 21 dito. Okay. So, pero meron yan Meron isang column dyan. Let me check. I-unhide ko kaya to. Baka nandito. How do I do this unhide? Ayan. So, ito na nga siya. So, ito. Ayan. So, ito. So, nakikita nyo from the AB9, okay? So, meron tayong formula na plus 42. Tapos ito, hindi ko lang plus 150 is next date on when we will do the ultrasound. Okay. Tapos, but anyway, ito yung part ng report na may plus 21 yan. And then that will alert us on this particular time na we have to proactively monitor if this cow is going into heat. Ayan. So we don't do the palpation, pero we look at it externally lang. Okay? And then another one is on the day 42. So it's that in between before going to day 50, we look into if the cow is also going into heat. So by this time, talagang there is already complete histological recovery starting at day 45, and then on day 60, pwede nang ma-impregnate kasi nakabalik na din sa normal IEI yung cow natin. Okay, so it's the same. So these are the steps or the procedure for determining the IEI from the record. So first, you identify the cow. Kaya dito ka muna magsisimula. Here, let's say here, 393. And then next is, you find the 2 consecutive hits. Okay, although wala dito sa particular one, pero i-input mo kunyari dyan, input mo dyan, para makuha mo na yung IEI. Compute for the interval, etc. So, yan yung date na sinabi ko. And then, now you interpret if it's in the normal range or not. Okay, tapos ito nga yung mga possible scenarios mo or factors why it's shortened or prolonged. So, kung calving interval, same as yung kanina, nasabi ko na din siya kung paano din siya i-calculate. Yan. And then, ito. So, pagka the interval is below 100, yan. So, 85 to 95. Ang ball number namin dito is 100. Kaya hindi na parang masyadong isipin na ano nga ba yun, 86, 87 ba, 93, ganyan. So, ang ball number namin dito is 100. I'm not sure kung hindi siya kita dito kasi ginawa namin siya into months. Pero sa isang reference na binasa namin, which is from the US, pag sinabing days, yan, yung ball number mo is 100 days for calving interval. So, meaning that within 2 to 3 cycles post-calving, na impregnate mo siya. Okay? So, paano ito? In a practical sense. So, the first 60 days after calving, wala talaga. Okay? Hindi mo talaga siya halos mabibreed. So, pwede nga 45 to 60. Kung maswerte ka, mabibreed mo siya. Pero pag hindi mo siya mabibreed, meron kang another 21 days. Right? So, 60 plus 21 is 81. Tapos, pagka hindi mo ulit naging successful ka, meron ka another 21. So, 81 plus 21, 103. Yeah, kaya ang ball number natin is 100. Okay? Pero pagka yun nga, given na before 60 days, kunyari 50 days, VWP na, okay na siya, nag-involute na siya, kaya, pero hindi mo pa siya na-breed, plus 21, that's 71, plus 21 again, that is 92, if I'm not mistaken. Di pasok ka dito sa excellent fertility. Okay? Acceptable, 95 to 120, and then the prolonged is more than 120. This is already American standard. So more like familiar talaga ako sa American compared to New Zealand and then European. Pero I'm sure they're just the same. It's just that yung talaga mga nabasa ko talaga, puro American author siya. American manuals, parang ganun. So ito talaga yung nakalagay doon. So, ang isa pa dyan is, you really aim that the positive energy balance is attained by the time na matapos yung VWP. Kasi it's only then, if the BCS is good, mag-hit siya ng maganda. If not, mapoprolong ngayon yung ano mo, yung IEI, okay? Or yung calving interval mo din. Tapos, the way we also looked at it is, you have 40 days to impregnate the animal kasi the ball figure nga is 100. So in that 40 days, you roughly have 2 inseminations. So itong ano niya, 2 to 3 estrus cycles post-calving, sinama niya yung isang inter-estrus cycle na pasok pa sa VWP. So pwedeng hindi mo talaga siya magamit. So, yung talagang open ka na days na dapat nagamit mo, you have 2 chances to impregnate. So, the moment na lumampas ka ng 100, in terms of economics, lugi ka na yan. Okay? Kaya itong 95 to 100, acceptable, pero basta lumampas ka ng 100, palugi ka na. Kasi yung, hindi naman palugi, let's say, yung income mo is liit ng paliit. Okay? Kaya the aim is 100. And hindi ko lang mapapakita dito sa sample data ko, pero may mga ano kami, later na mga data na nahihit na namin yung 100. Mga 98, 100, 103, ganun. Marami pa rin. Meron pa din na umabot ng 120. Pero masaya na kami. Masaya na kami sa merong ano, basta wala lang talaga lalampas ng 120. Kasi pagka lumampas ka doon, talaga, ito talaga lugi na pag more than 120. Kasi pinapakain mo na siya in excess. Okay? Economic loss na yan. Ayan, yung nga pala nakalagay dyan, no? Delayed conception, already economic loss. So dito, bumababa lang yung ano mo, yung income mo after 100 days. Okay? Tapos, to determine the CCI, of course, you have your calving records, date of the last calving, when was bred, ano yung similya, ano yung bull, when was it diagnosed, and then health and treatment records for any postpartum or reproductive issues. Okay. To summarize, yes, magtapos na tayo. So, normal range, ayan. So, I forgot na nandito pala to, pero ito talaga, kaya I really know it by heart kung ano yung ball number namin kasi yun talaga yung fina-follow namin. So, normal range up to 100 days. Prolonged range is more than 120 days. So, yan yung mga main causes mo. So, kailangan mong i-rule out each of these para ma-address mo what's causing the delay of your CCI. Okay, so longer CCI, more days open, meaning delayed everything, mababa ang iyong kita. Okay? And then, the diagnostic step here, your strategy is if several cows are prolonged on the CCI after using the same bull or technician, so it could be the semen handling, the timing of insemination relative to estrus of onset, or the technician skill and then hygiene. So, very important also yung hygiene. Kasi if hindi ko pa na-emphasize before, pero I know I demonstrated it to you weeks prior, I remember saying na after mo kunin yung semen straw from the water bath, from the lukewarm water bath, kailangan mo siyang tuyuin with the tissue. Kasi the excess water is detrimental to the semen. Na pagka nag-mix siya, prematurely, dun sa pag-inseminate mo. Okay? So, as minute detail as it is, but it's an important factor. Kaya sabi ko kanina, the steps that are needed to do the semen preparation, handling, and then AI, you really have to do them parang to the point, perfect as possible, para talaga maging successful. Once you get the hang of it, madali na lang talaga siya. Kaya hindi siya yung, alam mo yun, rocket science na it's so difficult. Sa ET yun, na-experience ko talaga yan. Pero medyo nakuha ko na yung strategy. Nasaan? Nasa nutrition. Talagang, ang ano mo is heifer. Heifer talaga. Pero even if yun nga, I was doing things, sabi ko, sure na ako, perfect ko naman siya ginagawa. Yeah, yung palang nutrition. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, di ba, talagang it really goes hand in hand yung nutrition. Even if very good ka on this part, pero BCS is low or alam mo yun, whatever, ayun, hindi magiging successful. So the hygiene also needs, definitely dapat the technician has clean hands before and after doing the procedure. He has to clean his hands. Tapos, devoid of any feces, yung working area, etc. Ganon. Okay, so now, so each additional day that the animal is open or not pregnant, okay, it will cost the farm money. Kasi yun nga, it prolongs the chance or the time na maging earning cow siya. Okay, and then yung kasing milk niya is the way to buy back the expenses that's been spent on her. So that's how we look at it. Hindi siya sa meat eh. So kaya, ano, we really have to be on top on the time na manganak ulit siya. Okay? So if she calves less frequently, so that means less calves, less lactations in her lifetime. So ang taas ng gastos mo. So yung feed, labor, and semen expenses continue with no return. So ito lang yung mga average economics. So pagka dairy systems, that means $3 per day that is open. That is already 180 pesos as of now. And for the temperate, it's even higher depending on the region, milk price, and then the management level. Okay, so we don't want a prolonged CCI. It's not just just a number, no? It's a financial parameter. No, it's a financial parameter. So it costs you money for every extra day that the animal is open. So you have to be particular in all of this. Okay? So that ends our lecture for this lab session today. Do you have any questions?